You might want to refer to Kropi's video on making plus 80 gold prim 2 swords. Grind fodders, this video doesn't really go over the optimal strat for that. And there is a strat for making unit fodders too. This vid's a nice reminder to do that, but being honest, outside of the, hey, go do this PSA, there's no mention of the easier strat to make those. And you guys thought I didn't read my comments. Let's talk about it. So completely side-skirting the mindset that, you know, mentioning go watch other video in people's comments usually on YouTube is kind of like a looked down or frowned upon thing to do in the first place. Pretty solid, you know, feedback for these videos themselves. However, this video that this comment was taken from was quite literally a PSA to go do the thing. That's why it literally said, don't forget to do this, go do this. That was the entire point of the video, was for it not to be too overly complicated, just quick to the point. Hey, go do this thing. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And it may be crazy for you guys to think this, but Kara and I are pretty good friends, and we talk fairly often, usually about video stuff or just random things we're doing. A lot of times we check out each other's videos, and I don't know if Kara does this as well. I know I usually do this, and I kind of get the same vibe from him as well, but we usually try not to make the exact same videos most of the time, though he could definitely make the video better than I could and probably crush me while doing it. He's usually pretty cool about not doing that, and I try to do the same in most situations, though we are going to have some crossover from time to time. Yep, Karo definitely made a video where he went more in depth and in detail about how you can exactly go through optimizing the whole, you know, making fodder situation. This video was not that. You want to know about it? Sure, let's do it. So when it comes to grinding fodder, PSO2, there's really not a whole lot you need to know about. Just the different multiplier bonuses that you can get and how you can set up fodder overall. And the reason why that video was fairly straight to the point was that you didn't really need to hyper optimize the creation of your fodder in that given situation. Now, you can go and go super high in optimization when it comes to creating fodder, but what that tends to do for a lot of people is it just tends to take away, or it tends to create a chore for setting up weapons. And as it's already kind of a pain point in the first place, I don't want to go too far into those. So what this video is going to talk about is all of the ways you can get bonus experience and ways that you can decide how far you want to go in your optimization when it comes to setting up your fodder, whether it be for a weapon or for a unit. So we go over here and talk to our, you know, I never really realized his name. His name's literally Grief. But we go here and talk to our good friend Grief over here. Probably not how it's pronounced, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Over to item enhancement, we can take a look at upgrading our different weapons. So we'll hop over here and we'll use one of our plus 60s as, or we'll use a plus 70 as an example. So when we're looking at how to upgrade something or what bonuses we can get, there's a few things we can keep in mind. Do I have any base versions? If I don't, I might have to grab one. Oh, we have one. Perfect. So one thing I'm gonna actually show you guys is the amount of experience you can get for taking a gold prim sword 2 and slapping it on another gold prim sword 2. Now, why is that relevant? Well, you're actually getting some of the most bonuses you can get when you're combining these two items. If you're taking a gold prim sword 2 base and combining it into one of the upgraded gold prim sword 2s that you can get from the shop right now, they recently just refreshed the shop. So make sure you guys go ahead and get everything you need from the shop. We'll talk about that possibly in another video if it's something you're interested in. I usually do those videos, but not always the best traction. So we'll gauge the audience and decide on that one. But when it comes down to bonuses, you're kind of taking advantage of almost every single bonus you possibly can. Actually, I believe it is every single bonus you possibly can. There is the same weapon type bonus, which says if you're, you know, using the same weapon type that you're augmenting with, you get a bonus amount of experience. There's the same weapon bonus, which you get bonus experience for that as well. There is also the bonus experience you're getting from the weapon having the augment here. This augment is just providing a flat 100% or 100k experience. And then there's the experience from just the weapon itself. All of these things compounded on one another is what's giving you this amount here. You actually would normally only get 100k plus the actual value of the weapon itself. And since this is a 7-star, 7 stars are valued at 900 experience. So you would get 100,900. But because we're getting all of those extra bonuses, we're going ahead and getting 1.5 or 151,350. Now, some of you guys are probably thinking, why didn't you just do that before when you were creating fodder? Why didn't you mention that? Well, realistically speaking, you absolutely can. You can turn all these into base weapons and then go ahead and combine them in for more experience. That's something to keep in mind. When I was creating fodder, it wasn't, hey, this is the best way to create fodder. It was, hey, create fodder. Just make it. Don't forget to make the fodder. Just make it. Now, the best way to do this, and also arguably takes much longer because there are more button presses that are involved, is to turn these into regular gold prim swords, or gold prim sword 2s, excuse me. Turn them into gold prim sword 2 takes advantage of all of the bonuses, which gives you basically an extra 50% extra experience on top of what you normally would use. However, you also lose a lot of time with combining swords, and it takes a vast amount of time to make these. So keep in mind that you are trading time for more experience. In most situations, you will get enough of these to make your weapons. I think what took me maybe 2 of these total to be able to go ahead and upgrade a weapon from base all the way to 80. You don't need a whole lot of these if you're just setting them up for yourself. If you're, however, setting up to try to make the max amount of profit, you do want to go ahead and turn these into the actual gold prim sword 2s for 2 primary reasons. 1, all the extra bonuses, and 2, it takes the endemio, and basically what it does is it turns it into the sword with the endemio capsule on it. So it's just a bunch of extra experience on top of what you normally would get. So it is hyper optimized. Yes, the primary thing that was left out of that video was that if you want to hyper optimize this, always turn them into the sword. And then the units as well. If you want to go ahead and create units for this process, you can do them primarily the same thing. You can push units together and you're good to go. However, that was only to take advantage of the great success rates. The great success rates are what you were actually going for to give you double the value of what you were going to actually get when it came to experience. It allowed you to essentially bank those great success rates because you were creating the fodder now, and you don't really lose out on anything because all that experience that weapon is worth gets transferred into the weapon that you're upgrading. So it allows you to go ahead and get all that experience together. Now, is there a good way of making units? I don't think so personally. Until they add units in to the shop down here, we'll pop over here really quick, but until they add in units to the ME shop, weapons are always going to be the easier one to make, unfortunately. I think I already, did I buy mine out? Yeah, I bought mine out. So until they add units in of the same variety to the ME shop, it's going to be kind of a pain. However, it is worth mentioning that if you do see weapons or units at different cost values, so let me see if I can, they actually are up here. I'm not sure. Okay, they still are. Yeah, so you can see weapons are about 6K. Units, in theory, should be roughly the same. They're about 9. So whenever you're looking at, oh, I want to optimize, creating a unit, creating weapons, however it happens to be, if you're looking at purchasing anything, purchase the cheaper variant and then just transfer it between the two. When I mean transfer, I'm talking about is you can turn one of these into the capsule variant and then turn the capsule variant into the regular version of the unit or of the weapon, whatever you're going for or trying to create. So you're able to essentially save yourself some money when it comes down to it, or if you're trying to make a little bit extra money on the side, not that this has really great margins or anything like that, you can take the cheaper ones, transfer them into the larger ones, or keep them all as capsules and hold on to them when it comes to creating. Or if you just really don't like creating stuff like this in the first place, you leave them as capsules because you can use 5 capsules in one left button push instead of having to press every individual sword in your inventory. It does take a bit longer, it is a bit more tedious, but it is more experience. So you have to ask yourself, do you want that extra amount of experience? Is it worth it for you, or do you value your time more in that situation? That's not something I can decide for you. So yes, yesterday's video was more about just a PSA. Hey, do this thing. I say yesterday, I meant the day before actually, but hey, do this thing. However, you can do this thing better. Kara did make a video going very in depth into this. I recommend checking it out. But here's some information that you can use that's mostly what you need to get this taken care of. If you decide to make units, by the way, keep in mind they do start at 50. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, why would I care about this? It's already passed. These bonuses are coming back around. I believe on the 22nd of this month, these bonuses will be wrapping back around. Take advantage of them then. Go ahead and set up your units if you need to. Set up some weapons and set them aside for when you want to make some new stuff. Or possibly sell them to other people and make some money. I would highly recommend taking advantage of that specific reward because it cuts down the cost of limit breaking by, I believe, 75%, Meseta. Either 50 or 75. I want to say it was 75. Don't quote me on that. Cuts it down by about 75% of the Meseta costs, which is pretty massive. And in case you're like, hey, you know, that's a lot of information. I don't really want to watch this video 3,000 or 4,000 times. Can you show me a chart? Guess what? There's a chart. Hey friends, look, it's the chart. So in case you want to decide how should I upgrade, how much do I get, you know, what should I use, so on and so forth, you can decide your own strategy based on all the numbers that are here. So if you're someone who's a numbers guy and you're like, I can figure it out better, absolutely go for it. Here's the amounts. This equates to the amount of experience a piece of material will go towards the actual the amounts. Like you can see here, 7 stars, 900 experience. It basically says, hey, if I use a 7-star as fodder, I'm bare minimum going to get 900 experience to go towards my weapon itself, not counting anything else. These are the EXP augments. These augments provide extra EXP if they are augmented onto a piece of gear and then you use it as fodder. You get that bonus amount of experience added on top of it when you're using it as fodder. As you can see, the Endemio is 100k and Hypero 2 is a mil and Astrio S is 5 mil. So very cool. The enhancement cost gives us the cost per material item. However, this is based on the item you're upgrading. So not based on the material you're using. So using cheaper material is not going to give you, you know, cheaper cost. If you're upgrading a 10-star, every material you use is going to cost you 5.5k. And then here's the amounts of experience that you need per enhancement level. So as you can see, going from 0 all the way up to plus 80 for an 11-star is 22 million experience. It is a vast amount of experience. This is why taking advantage of the great success rates are very important. You can also see attack and defense gains and other cool really things like other, you know, interesting little things like that. Cost for limit breaking, you can decide how far you want to make those or how much making the gold prim 2 armors are going to cut into your cost if you go as high as plus 80. As you can see, the values don't vastly change when you're looking at different armors. So if we were to say, look at the gold prim 2s, let me go ahead and pop over really quick. So as we can see, gold prim armor 2s, when you get them, they are only 50 max. We don't have any that come preloaded plus 80, unfortunately, meaning you will have to limit break these if you want to push them any higher. However, you can also just store the experience on the plus 50s. That is an option. You just end up with a lot more plus 50s. So make sure that you have enough in your inventory to essentially take advantage of that fact. And the thing is, the more of these that you make, the less, what's the word I'm looking for? The less efficient they technically are. You want the higher amounts because you want to be able to bank as many great successes as you possibly can. And if you need to use more of them, that means that it is less great successes that you're essentially banking. It's kind of weird to quantify exactly how it ends up working out because there is some RNG involved and it depends on when you're upgrading things of that sort. But the idea is that you want to use the least amount of these fodders when you're actually upgrading your item versus right now you want to make the most of them you possibly can. That way you can take advantage of the most great success rates. So if you decide to go the route of upgrading your stuff to bank more in one piece of gear, let's say one armor piece, we know that there's 7 stars and the limit break costs are 170, 180, and 190k respectively. Meaning you're going to be investing upwards of almost 600k on making this gear. It's like 550. My quick math is not the best these days, but it's gonna be less than 600k on making a single piece, and that's if you go that far. Myself personally, what I would probably do would be pushing it maybe to plus 70. I wouldn't go any further past that if I was even going to make units in the first place. I might just bite the bullet and upgrade units normally as it is, because realistically speaking, units don't need to be pushed past 61 in most cases. In a lot of situations, a unit being at 61 is going to be the height of their actual damage potential, and then pushing them to plus 80 is something you do when there's like an event going on, or you happen to have the extra resources lying around, or what have you. Maybe you're trying to hit a battle power specific breakpoint to be able to enter a piece of content and you're behind by just a little bit, that might be the little bit of an edge that you need to push yourself over the gap. Realistically speaking, units aren't as important, so getting them to 61 is the most important thing you can do. Making fodder for them isn't nearly as important as making fodder for weapons, seeing as you really want your weapons to always be plus 80. And that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. So let me know what your strategy are in the comments below. Everyone's got a different one, and to be perfectly honest, they're all valid as long as you you know what you're getting yourself into. Some people like to waste a little bit more money because they like to save some time. Some people like to invest a bit more time because they've got it and it lets them save some money. Everyone's got their reason for buying what they do, and it's all there. Either way, guys, thanks for watching all the end. Do all the cool YouTube things. If you want to support any more, there are links in the video description to all different ways you can do so, whether it be joining the YouTube channel as a member or possibly, jumping over on Ko-Fi. Whatever happens to be, it's there available to you, and you can look into doing so if you like to, or just watch the videos. Helps out. Do all the YouTube things. Leave comments, like videos, so on and so forth. Anyway, still working on workshopping that ending to the videos. It's really bad about those, but yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, my friends. Peace out. Anyway, let me know what your strategies are in the comments below. Either way, like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to keep up with more. If you guys really enjoy what I do, consider checking out all the other links that are posted in the video description of different ways to support the channel, whether they be joining as a channel member or possibly supporting over on Ko-Fi. Whatever your vice is, it's there. Either way, thanks. Take care, my friends. Peace out.